Hello, everyone. Welcome back to IMSI. That is Hedge.
And this is Joel Bazaire, and we are happy to come talk to you today about a pretty nice data set that we have today involving two of our favorite debate topics between the two of us, sports and height. If you've never met us in person before, the height part might not make any sense, but the sports part definitely does make sense. Joel, what are you sporting today? Obviously.
I've got the Toronto Blue Jays hoodie. 2023 is our year. It'll be 30 years since the last World Series title. So so
it's time. It's overdue.
And this would normally be when I talk smack about Hedge's sports attire, but I got nothing to say about the Celtics this year. They are ridiculously good, and it pains me to say that. My Raptors are struggling a little bit, but
yes, they are.
Yeah, Boston and Toronto in basketball and baseball have kind of switched places in the last few years. It's interesting. So
yeah, they have. But the Celtics will never be complete until they get Isaiah Thomas back. That is the hill I will die on. I don't care what anyone says.
Is he still in the league? Like, is he still of playing age? Because that was a while ago, Hedge.
Yeah, I know. But in my heart, like, he is my favorite, with Muggsy like right behind him. If you know, you know. So anyway.
Depending on how this video goes, I may do a reveal to my Nashville Predators jersey under this. Those are my two teams.
Okay.
Today we're in grade 7, right, Hedge?
Yes. One of my favorite grades.
Unit 8, lesson 11, part 2. It's called More Team Heights. That's where the sports jerseys come from. So we're going to get into looking at some investigations surrounding the heights of some teams. So Hedge, the teams that are included here, they've got heights for a gymnastics squad, a volleyball team, tennis, and badminton. Which one of those would be yours if you were having to choose between those 4 sports?
Oh Lord, probably because I have 2 left feet. I would probably just say badminton. Probably my favorite sport to participate in, as you know, because there's no height requirement at all, is archery.
Well, we're actually going to get to that in a minute about the height requirements, right? That's an interesting question on here. That's cool. Yeah. So archery.
What about you? Where are you falling in this?
Well, as you know, I moved to Mississippi for my last couple of years of high school, and I made the mistake of announcing that I had played volleyball in Canada, because as you know, in Mississippi, volleyball is not a men's sport at all. So that was a rude yet. I'm hoping it comes. But of these sports, volleyball is definitely my go-to. They don't ask a lot of 6'4" guys to do gymnastics, turns out. So all right, you want to talk us through? So first of all, as you can see, as always, we included the original questions from Illustrative and Open Up. These are what you find in the stock curriculum. Excellent stuff right here. Our deal is we want to add some more investigative sort of type questions. We're trying to create statistical skeptics. So Hedge, while I make a graph here, you want to talk through one of the questions on here that you like, that we the investigations?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think probably one of my favorite questions that you and I had put together was question number 2, when it asks, what do the typical heights of players in each sport indicate about the importance of height in that sport? And the reason that I love that question is it's open. Like there's not a directive, use the mean, the median, and the mode. And so as a teacher, my gut is to see, are students kind of understanding how the shape of the data plays into, whether we want to trust the mean, the median, or the mode to tell the story of the data. So you can get a lot out of what students understand about the shape of the data based off of their answer to that question. But also it's open enough to where they get to pick whatever they want, and then they just have to back it up. And you get some really nice insights into their thinking when they do that.
Nice. Very good. Yeah. We like that word typical. It won't be the first time you've seen us use it, right? But it really opens up a lot of opportunities for students to share what they know in different ways, and it can lead to a lot of really good insights on the teacher's part, wouldn't you say?
I agree. Like it a lot.
So this third question also talking about the variability, and we talked whether we want to say range, whether we wanted to say spread, but again, we don't want to limit it to a certain measure of variability, right? And the idea here is what we want students to notice is there's not a huge difference in the variability. It's all between 10 and 15 inches. Now, of course, there are some sports that skew taller than other sports, right? But there isn't a huge amount of difference in the spreads between them, meaning hopefully we can get kids to start to see that height means about the same in the performance of each of these four sports. It has about the same impact or the same importance level, whether that's vary or not, whether it's tall versus short being the important thing. We want to sort of see that the spread being around the same. We want students to start to sort of wrap their mind around what that means. Name a sport that you think would have a similar variability to these four sports. Now we start thinking outside of our data set. What do kids already know about sports? What other sports are height relatively important in? And then name a sport that you think would have more variability. So in other words, it could be more spread out, and that's hedge where you could bring in archery if you wanted to, right? Where height doesn't matter, or students may be connected to a different sport where the height is not as important as maybe in these four.
Yeah, I think I like it because it's really enlightening, because it might open up the doors for conversation for students to talk about a sport that they're really passionate about that we're maybe not as familiar with, and that really gives them some time to shine about how this particular aspect leans into that sport.
Yeah. And, this could get really complicated, and students may need to defend their answer by going and gathering data for sports teams and that kind of thing. As with all of our investigations, take all 6 questions, focus on 1 or 2 of them here and there, right? These are all just ways to get the kids more sort of involved in investigating the data. And if one of these seems to go down a really fruitful path with your classroom, run away with that. And this could be one of the questions, that third one, where they start debating like, no, basketball would be more compact than this, not less. And so, that sort of thing. So anyhow, you got another one you want to talk about?
I think I also kind of like number 4 about Benny, only because Benny and I have something in common, which is that 5-foot height, because I am the height of a 5th grader, but I think that's really cool because you start getting kids to kind of make some intuitive gut impact statements about what they think about where Benny would fall, but also it gives you the opportunity to spot maybe some misconceptions. I've had a lot of students, whenever you tell them that somebody is 5 feet tall, they'll go, oh, so they're 50 inches tall. And then you kind of get to kind of step back and go, where did you get that answer? Like, where does that come from? Talk to me about how you got that. But Benny, where would Benny fall? If he's 5 feet tall, he's 60 inches tall. What sports do you think his height is going to be maybe an additive, or maybe where he's got to fight a little bit harder to get on that sports team, like, Isaiah? So anyway, I like 4. I like 4 a lot because kids start to argue, because like you might have a student on one side of the room that is very adamant that this student cannot play a certain sport because of their height, and then students start popping up, well, what about this athlete in this sport, and what about this athlete in this sport? And it really gives you some good debate, and kids start kind of questioning each other. And data duels are always my favorite.
I really like this question too, where you settled on 5 feet with the 60 inches, because it's just outside the range of badminton, right? With like the lowest being 62. So absolutely a student could make the case that Benny could play badminton. It's only 2 inches smaller. However, the only sport where 60 is actually within the range of data is the gymnastics, right? So the way the student could interpret that question with that number is really well chosen. And I like that you went with feet to help sort of ferret out, like you said, some other misconceptions as well. We've got some other questions on here, like what's the shortest height we could add to volleyball that wouldn't surprise you, getting students to think both about typical values and about the variability of the data as well. And again, opens up the opportunity for more discussion in the classroom around what expected values might be, or typical, or how variable the data is. So a really good data set provided to us by the illustrative Open Up folks, and just trying to get it a little more investigative and you know, the students getting into the data a little more than just surface level questions. Hedge, good talking
Yes.
to you.
Say that one more time. You broke it. Oh, you trash talking already? No.
Go Blue Jays. Go Blue Jays.
Yeah, go Celtics for life. You know,
Yeah,
I can be from Mississippi and love a Boston team. Like that's okay. You know,
I know all the Boston teams. I know you. Yep, it's all right. I can't say anything. They're going to win it all this year. It just pains me to say that. But anyhow, until next time, everybody. See ya. That's Hedge. I'm Joel. Bye.